One of the other assignments that many students struggled with, both in school and via Lee Home Connect, was the independent and dependent variables quiz. You can see it's here in our Google Classroom Q3, Week 4. It was titled MAFS.6.EE.3.9 quiz. Originally, it was a Google Doc for our online kids, and for our in-person kids, it was paper and pencil. For both groups, for everybody, we went through the first page together, but I understand for the online students, it was hard for you to add text boxes in on the fly while we were, going through it on Zoom. So many of you have struggled with it, have not finished it. I know it's kind of overwhelming adding text boxes in and trying to do understand the math at the same time. So we went ahead and made a Google Slides assignment instead for it. So this video is going to show you how to complete the assignment via Google Slides. And I think that'll be much easier than the Google Doc. And you'll still be able to get your grades up because you're finishing assignments. So I'll be sharing this assignment with you. It's the quiz makeups for independent and dependent variables. When you first open it, it will probably be pretty small and hard to read. But just know that you can use your magnifying glass to zoom in so you can read. Okay? All of the answers you're going to click and drag your answers. You're not going to have to type anything. You're not going to add any text boxes. Just click and drag your answers. And we're going to do the first slide together, and then you'll be responsible for slide 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so the first slide says, Mrs. Johnson's class raised money for their class trips to King Dominion. They sold boxes of brownies in order to raise funds. Each box of brownies sells for $1.50. Now, the first section tells me that I am supposed to click and drag to label the variables. So we have independent and dependent variables. Remember, dependent variables are those that change in response to something else. For example, I get paid for the number of hours I work. My total paycheck is dependent on how many hours I work. So when we think about dependent variable, it's dependent on something. So in this scenario, the amount of money collected is and see, I'm glad that I made that mistake because I had my zoom still selected. Oops, now I'm zooming out instead of in. So I want to make sure that I select my cursor so I can actually move things around. So make sure you're on your little arrow. I'm glad that happened so you saw how to fix it. So I'm on my arrow and I am going to click and drag the independent or dependent variable to the proper place. So we said the amount of money collected is dependent. It depends on how many brownie boxes I sell. If I sell just a few, I don't make much money. If I sell a whole lot, I make a lot more money. So the number of brownie boxes is independent and the amount of money collected is dependent. Now we'll scroll down using our bar to the side and we'll do the next section. The next section says the relationship between the variables. The blank depends on the number of blank. So here, over to the side, you can see that you're clicking and dragging to complete the sentence, and I have 2 green boxes that I'm choosing from. So I can click and drag or move them and read the sentence and see if it makes sense. The brownie boxes sold depends on the number of, let's drag this over here, amount of money earned. Does that make sense? Does the brownie boxes sold depend on the money? No, that doesn't make sense. I gotta switch it up. The amount of money earned depends on the number of brownie boxes sold. Remember we said you sell a lot, you make a lot. You don't sell a lot, you don't make a lot. All right, and now we're on our third section, and we have a table here. And it says click and drag to complete the table. So I want to remind myself, what was the independent variable again? What was changing on its own? The money I made or the boxes of brownies sold? the boxes of brownies, right? So we're going to put our B here to complete the table. And if you forgot, you could always scroll back up and look. We already said that B was our independent variable. So I'm going to go back down to my table. Independent is brownie boxes, B, and dependent is money. So if I sold one brownie box, I made $1.50. And where did that number come from? That number came from the original problem. Go all the way back to the top, and it says each box of brownies sells for $1.50. So the number of I sold one box, total money, $1.50. If I sell two boxes, now I have $1.50 plus $1.50. That's going to be $3. And I'm just going to click and drag that over. How about three boxes? So you have $1.50 plus $1.50 plus $1.50. That would be $4.50. That's the same as $1.50 times 3. How about 4 boxes? I have two choices, $7.50 or 6. If you work it out, $1.50 times 4, you would come up with $6. And now I'm on the last section. The very last section says that I am supposed to click and drag the best equation. So I'm clicking and dragging the best equation that matches what's going on in this scenario. So let's look at the first equation. It says B equals $1.50 times M. So I'm going to compare that to the table. And B equals $1.50 times M. So if I took $1.50 times $1.50, would that be 1? What if I took $3 times $1.50? Would that be 2? No, that's incorrect. I don't want that equation. I'm going to drag it back over. Now I'm going to try the other equation. The other equation says M equals $1.50 times B. B is 1. Is 1 times $1.50 equal to $1.50, which is M? Yeah, that's correct. How about 3? B is 3 now. $1.50 times 3, does that equal $4.50? Yes, it does. So your job is to read the problem at the beginning and complete each section as it relates to the problem. Remember, this is independent and dependent variables. You should be able to go back through and find some notes in your notebook on it. I can also add pictures of our notes if we need to, but you should be able to complete this based on the scenario and the examples provided. Hopefully, doing it this way through Google Slides is a lot easier than the original Google Doc activity.